Hey everybody, it's vanburman here. Welcome back to another Steam Unsupported Games. I believe this is part 10. I wasn't expecting to do another one, but yeah, Steam are obviously doing some revalidations. I'm trying to keep an eye on it from my library's perspective, as and when they do, because it's always good to see how well or not well they're particularly doing. So, yes, anyway, Erica is like one of those interactive games, like modern day FMV games, which is actually not too bad. I guess it's fine, and it doesn't work. And on ProtonDB, it's down as balked as well. I didn't check ProtonDB for all of these, so there might be some that do work that I hadn't picked up on. But yes, Erica itself does not work regardless of the options or anything else, and I'm not 100% sure why, but it doesn't. And next up, we have got Way of the Samurai 4. Now, if you boot this up, normally you get that sort of screen that comes up when video files aren't loading, effectively. I think that's, I'm not sure if that's actually what it's called. But yeah, as we know, that one is solved because of some video file issue, which comes up and plagues a lot of the Steam library. Someone said it's to do with like licensing and stuff for video file formats or what have you, but anyway, that is one of the ones that is a bit more easily solved if it's just that issue, and that is by enabling a version of Glorious Egg Roll. I think I use the new one which I've got now, which is 7-14 rather than 7-9, but I imagine that 7-9 will work as well. But then again, you can just download the latest one through the Proton tool, of course, for your desktop. And next up, we've got Supraland, one I've not heard of before. I think I must have got this in some sort of random bundle. But yes, this one seems to work like fine, I guess. It works fine in terms of starts up, runs correctly. It does need you to press F11, and that's one of the things that it does tell you at the main menu screen for you to do to be able to access the main menu, which basically just would put it in window borderless mode or something, I guess, if that's what it does do. And then everything seems to work from there. I had a keyboard plugged in, but I imagine you could do exactly the same thing by setting one of your buttons through the controller scheme to F11, and then the mouse just works. And I had a bit of a game play for it as well with the controller, Steam Deck controller and everything else, and it seemed to work fine. So a little bit of a minor inconvenience, but yeah, it does work pretty well once you get into the actual game itself. And next up is Valley, which is actually the whole reason I sort of did this video. We tested it out on when it was not unsupported, when it was untested, and from being tested now it doesn't work, even though it boots up with the recommended version in the info tab to Proton 7.0-1. One thing I did notice while playing through it though is that it does seem to be quite a bit of slowdown when you're jumping through the air, which I don't seem to recall was as bad as this last time. It's certainly something that you can play fine, although, yeah, admittedly a little bit jarring. In terms of running around and shooting and doing all the rest of the stuff, that seems to work fine. For some, there is just something that causes slowdown with jumping for some reason. I don't know enough about it to tell you why. Necessarily that is the particular issue. So I don't really want to say, yeah, by the way, it just works, guys, you'd be totally fine. I do want to raise that as a potential issue. It doesn't seem to be settings. I ran it on medium rather than high, and the same sort of thing was still happening. So yeah, don't know. Depends on the height of the jump as well. But yeah, just worth noting, it is playable. I imagine you could probably play the whole game with it as it is, but just wanted to make you aware. And the next game we're going to look at is Sword of the Stars Complete Collection. I've never played this before, so I'm not sure how it's supposed to run. And I still don't know how it's supposed to run, because you just straight up get an error message whether you run it on the normal Proton or GE. I didn't try every single Proton version, tried experimental GE and the latest one. And I got the same thing as well, where error occurred with varying levels of issues. So yeah, it's down as unsupported, and I think that's probably right. I didn't check ProtonDB though, so yeah, that one is possibly maybe fixable for workaround, but not that I'm aware, and I be honest with you, I didn't put the time in to check either. So maybe that's one, if there's enough demand for it and there is a fix, we can go back and have a look. And we've got Fallout Tactics available. So this one is actually a pretty easy fix, if you like, which is good for everyone to know. If you start up using the normal like launch Fallout Tactics, it won't work. I think it's once again another issue with it being in full screen mode through SteamOS or just on Proton, really. And that doesn't work out the gate. Unfortunately, you get to the launcher, try and launch it. The mouse controls and everything work fine though, which is good point to make. And yeah, regardless of what Proton version you use with this one, it won't actually boot up through the normal method. But if you go in through the Windows 8 fix, effectively, then this will work fine. I didn't try the other option. I didn't try it. I didn't mix and match or anything like that. But yeah, you can get it working once you're in. Runs perfectly fine. Obviously, it's quite old game at this point, particularly old. There was a little bit of an issue potentially with one of the startup logos, but in terms of the cutscenes, at least the initial cutscene, it was fine. Moving the characters around, choosing options, all that sort of stuff was fine on first glance. So yeah, it should be that way for you guys as well. Just make sure you select the Windows 8 fix from the launch.
Greetings to the Brotherhood of Steel.
And the penultimate game for today is Digimon Story Cybersleuth, and this is thanks to Meku Terin in the comments on the, I can't remember what part it was now, might have been part 7 I think, where we last looked at this one. And apparently the workaround for this, which confirm is working, launch Cybersleuth through the desktop mode, and then if you're starting a new game of course, or any game actually, and then get to the bit where you can start to control your character, go into the settings option, and then you want to select to put it onto borderless windowed, I think. Gosh, I can't remember. Or windowed. It's on the video anyway, so I could just look it up, but you'll see it on the screen regardless. And yeah, and then you can head back into your normal, head back into game mode, and then everything will work as expected. So yeah, it seems to be a little bit of a reoccurring theme. I mean, this is like 3 games effectively that are being fixed from not being in, effectively not wanting to be in full screen mode, which is a bit of a bizarre one, I guess. I'm not sure the exact reason for that. This is like a resolution problem. I mean, that has come up a couple of times already so far as we've been going through it, but yeah, just worth sort of bearing in mind, I guess, or bearing in mind for me if we're going to be testing more unsupported games, that you want to be, that's one of the potential fixes, I suppose. Oh, that's funny, it was in windowed mode and then putting it in borderless full screen was the one that did it. I've got to say, I'm not sure why, but yeah, it didn't really seem any reason to me why this game wouldn't run properly. And I think that was just because you look on Proton DB and you see that it's like platinum rated. So you think, oh gosh, it should work pretty well. I mean, we're using the same sort of compatibility layer, but you can't always necessarily take that for granted. I think Proton DB in of itself is brilliant because it gives you a good indication. There's only been a couple really that we've had any sort of mega showstoppers with. So whereas the majority do seem if they work on Proton DB, there's usually a workaround. But anyway, thank you very much for the tip off, Meku. It's really useful. I'm always glad to get more stuff working as and when it's possible to do so, and if I can share that with you and it's something that you wanted to play, because I had a few comments I think specifically about this game, the disappointment I guess of this game not working properly. So yeah, that's a good way around it. It's good to see it working in game mode as well, which I don't really think many people are going to be playing it if they're on handheld in desktop mode, and definitely that would not be ideal. I think if people have to dip into desktop mode to make stuff work, that is probably a compromise that a lot of people are willing to make. But yeah, even though so much you can do in desktop mode, I'm actually really impressed. But anyway, that's going over different ground. But yeah, when I do actually finally get to trying to get time to actually play this game, which I don't know when that will be because there's so much going on. But yeah, when I do, at least I've got it hopefully set up. Hopefully it saves it when I uninstall it and then no doubt reinstall it later. And then I can, yeah, pick up where I left off right at the start of the prologue, in fact. So another big win for us there, at least on this channel. So, and now we've got the final one, which one I was actually pretty surprised about. It just not without looking at anything, of course. So yeah, Steam tested this one on version 7.0-1, so that's what I set it to. And
this just works. It's not. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. Yeah, it does work. Minor graphical issues, but nothing major. The frame rate is okay. I checked ProtonDB. Some people were saying that the frame rate's not brilliant, and it's not the best for the age of the game and whatnot, but it certainly is playable. I'm going to leave you with gameplay, which I always like to do at the end if possible, so you can have a bit more of a detailed look at Saints Row 2. I did play a little bit of the prison escape. I don't think that's much of a spoiler, that you can watch and see how it runs for yourself. But yeah, let me know what you think. Been pretty mostly successful, really, I guess. The ones that didn't work just flat out don't work. And yeah, managed to get a couple, or at least Digimon anyway, working where they weren't previously. So I'm actually pretty pleased with this episode. I don't know how many more will be on the Unsupported, in the Unsupported playlist or for the Unsupported games, but I'll be checking very infrequently as to when Steam go back and do some validation. So anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. Enjoy a little bit of Saints Row 2.
I believe it's been that long.
Yes. That looks like it healed nicely.
Be careful, Doctor. Your patient's...
has been luring away a lot of our best doctors. Black, it's time. Word, it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
Let me show you. Come out. Oh God. We gotta keep moving.
We can either try to sneak out through the roof or charge out the front. Your call. Let's get to the docks. I can drive us out of here. I can't believe I'm breaking out of jail with you.
Just stay focused, little man.
All right, you had your chance to come quiet.
got a lot of guards to go through. So, do you remember my brother?
I'm not gonna lie. Got no idea who the hell you're talking about.
So, what are you gonna do when you get out of here?
I ain't worrying about that until I'm out of here.
I really think you can take my career. I think we might pull this off.
You telling me you didn't know this was gonna work?
Told you I'd get you out of here.
Yeah, let's not start celebrating till we're off this damn island.